embarrass someone. That can mean anything. That could mean, oh, so-and-so did the most embarrassing thing in class today. Let me tell you what they did. Somebody said something really stupid, gave the really stupid answer to teachers' questions. That ought not to be a crime.
And you're opposed to that based on the freedom of speech?
Absolutely. Freedom of speech and criminalizing normal conduct. I mean, do you really want a child to be a criminal because they sent an email to their friend telling the story of the stupid answer that somebody gave in class today? I mean, that's what kids do. Kids have been doing that forever. Now, kids ought to learn the difference between that and tormenting someone. But to criminalize that kind of activity, first of all, yes, it's a free speech issue. And also, it's turning kids into criminals that then gets them into the criminal justice system in a way that really makes it very difficult to get out. And that's not good for society.
And back to when you're talking about that the incarcerated young people should get some sort of training to allow them to be productive when they get out of jail. What is the prognosis of some of those bills being successful?
Well, as I said, this year we seem it's too early to say for sure. And ask me again when the session is over. But it's looking like we're making more headway because legislators understand that it's less expensive to train people and release them than it is to keep them in jail forever.
And there's a general understanding in the legislature?
I think so.
Because, I don't generally attribute great intelligence to those people.
well, what happens is that bills that have a fiscal impact go into session with what they call a fiscal note, which is essentially a budgetary estimate from the state legislative auditors committee that says this is how much it will either cost on the revenue side or save if we do this. And when they go in with a bill that says, well, this could save the state, X amounts of millions of dollars a year if we do this, they get that. And when they're dealing with a budget deficit and they have to figure out how to cut costs everywhere they can, that's a way to make progress on all sorts of issues. And we on our side are using that. In fact, to go full circle, we're going to use that, hopefully, we're going to use that argument when the adoption bills come back up through the House of Representatives where they failed in the Senate, because what we didn't have in the Senate, but I hope to have in the House, is a fiscal impact of taking kids out of foster care and providing them with families. If we can say, here's how much it costs per child, per year, for the state to support these kids. If we can place, X number of kids in good, loving homes and take these kids out of the public payroll, maybe we can sway somebody who might not have thought of that as an argument in favor of doing this.
You're saying that an appeal to economics may be more successful than an appeal to morality?
In some cases, and whatever works is fine.
Yes.
We try the morality argument. Obviously, we lead with that. But if somebody's on the fence and they're not really sure which way to go, they may be swayed by an economic argument.
All right. Well, Marjorie, we've got a couple of minutes left. What else would you like to mention before we have to say so long?
Well, like the secular humanists, I think the ACLU is always severely misunderstood. And that's something that your organization and mine shares, is that people don't understand who we are and what we do. I like to say that actually the ACLU is the most patriotic organization in this country because we defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And after all, what could be more patriotic than the Constitution and the Bill of Rights?
What could be more conservative, and yet you're considered a highly liberal organization?
That's right, and that is a total mischaracterization and a misunderstanding of who we are and what we do. So,
my opinion is that the support for the Constitution is a very conservative political position.
Well, I don't like to use the terms conservative or liberal because I think those terms themselves are misunderstood, but I agree with you, and certainly I think that we are highly patriotic in the purest sense because we are defending the documents on which our country was formed and exists, and I think it's too bad that people don't understand that better than they do, and I know that you suffer from severe misunderstandings
Would you attribute
as well.
this misunderstanding to the news media, or where does this come from?
Well, it's the news media, I think, largely, and it's because we we sue the government, and people think that if you sue the government, that means that you're anti-government, and it really doesn't. We sue the government to get it back to where it ought to be.
Yes.
So we're actually in favor of the government operating as it should, but people don't understand that.
What can your organization and our organization do to at least move more people to have a more friendly opinion of us? What should we be? What should we do?
I wish I had the answer to that, but I think a lot of it is messaging. I mean, I think a lot of it is to remind people that we are in fact about getting the government to do what it's supposed to do. That we are about returning it to what its roots are and should be, and that we really are. Certainly in terms of my organization, as I say, we are really very patriotic. I'm not sure that your organization could really stake that claim, but certainly to say that all you are is trying to get the principles of the First Amendment to play out in practice as they are in words. I don't know.
Well, if it's a matter of public relations, I think you and I take every opportunity to let the world know that we're not bad people.
Right.
And that our organizations are not bad organizations. I think we just need more opportunities to do that. And I hope that this little show might reach some people who come to the conclusion that we're okay. We're not going to try to take anyone's rights away from them.
No, in fact, we're trying to restore rights to people who don't have them.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you folks for watching our show. I want to thank you, Marjorie Esman, for being with us again today.
Always a pleasure.
And we hope we will see you folks again soon.